And ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Grant Center for tonight's USA South quarterfinal matchup between the Monarchs of Methodist University and your Averett University Cougars. I'm Davin Wilson. I'm joined here today by Lindsey Fulcher, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. And while we are now just bringing you the action pretty much at the end of the first set, but that is a part of the cost of doing live radio, live video, live broadcast. Sometimes things don't go your way, and you have to be able to react and fix it. But we've got it here, and right now we've got a Donnybrook as Hannah Shields says freight train coming to your house, and she's going to hammer home a kill, and that's going to give the Cougars a 21-20 lead. So we're going to have Keenan Marks into the game on the libero switch. Marks back to the line here with her team holding on to a 21-20 lead right now. Methodist, of course, got here on the back of its 3-0 victory against Salem College. And Methodist coming back, and they will not just score as number 11, Cassidy Hayes, tells Hannah Shields, I can do that too, and comes down with a big kill for the Monarchs. So there's the serve, the set from Marks. It's going to go over to Courier. There's the attack, and it's going to be a little bit too much for Marks as it caught her off guard a little bit. I think she was expecting that to be a little bit higher. Came in on a line at her, and she's unable to handle it. So number 11, Hayes, back to serve again. Shields, Marks, back to Shields. Shields faking spike. Opts to go with the finger roll, but she tips the net, and the point will go to the Monarchs, and they grab a 23-21 lead. So Danny Miller wants a timeout, and we're going to take it here with him on the Averett Sports Network.
And we are back here at the Grant Center. I'm Lindsey Fulcher, joined by Davin Wilson. And we are in set 1 of today's game. And the score is 23-21. Make that 23-22. Averett trailing by 1 as Hannah Shields comes up to serve. Shields a player to watch in today's game as she leads Averett with 489 kills on the year. She was also named USA South Player of the Week on Monday. Davin, it is over. Shields, Marks sends it over. Dedez taps it over. Stanley, Marks, and Smoot with the kill.
Smoot getting up for that one right there, Lindsey, and it is now a 23-23 game. And the Blue Crew getting involved over there on Averett's home side.
And Shields up to the line again. It is over. Methodist fighting back hard, but not hard enough, Davin, there in that play as it went straight into the net.
And so Methodist head coach Eddie Matthews wants to take a timeout, and we're going to take it here with them on the Averett Sports Network. Averett holding a 24-23 lead, and we'll have match point when we come back.
And we are back here at the Grant Center. We are here at set point. Hannah Shields with the serve. Marks to Stanley and Coyer, and it is in.
And
so the Cougars win the first set.
The Cougars will take the first set 25-23, and they're going to take about a 3-minute break while they switch sides. We're going to take it with them, but we will be right back with all the action here on the Averett Sports Network. Averett head early, 1-0. Keep it locked. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are just seconds away from the start of second set action. I'm joined this set by Kathy Flanagan. Kathy, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you, and it's always nice to have a savant on hand.
Yeah.
To be able to provide a little bit more analysis than what I'm able to, considering I've never played volleyball before. Or at least really that seriously. So we've got little Lily Henry coming up. And Kathy, when I was looking at the program earlier tonight, I thought her name actually said Little Henry, and I thought that might have been a stage name.
Looks like it.
It does. It does look like Little.
Yeah.
And that's going to be number 13, Cheyenne Pump, getting the ball over, but that's right to Dedez. And Pump, a little finger roll. There's a setup by Marks. Marks to Shields. Shields pushes it over. Nice job there by Methodist. And that's going to be a Averett point, so the Cougars will get on the board first here in the second set. 1-0 as
Hannah Shields comes in to serve for Averett.
And there's the set by the Monarchs. So number 11, Hayes, getting it over. Stanley to Coyer. There's an overball. Smoot. Another set. Impressive rally going on here. And Hayes, a little bit too much sauce on it. And that ball goes out of bounds for an Averett point. And it's now 2-0 here in the second set. Hannah Shields back to serve. And give the ace to Shields as number 14, Megan Andrews, the freshman outside hitter from Henderson, North Carolina, unable to corral it in. And Kathy, my godmother, is actually from Henderson, North Carolina. I've spent a lot of time down there, and it's a great area down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so Methodist now on the defensive end. There's number 11, Hayes. Marks to Shields, and Shields hammers that one home. And I feel sorry for Megan Andrews' fist right there, but that's going to result in a Maggie Harris attack and a Monarchs point. Their first of the match, of the set, and it's now 3-1. So number 13, Pomp back to serve. Marks with the set. Shields with the overball. That's going to be number 3, Harris. Number 24, Ronelli. Stanley, Marks. Over to Courier, and Courier is going to hammer one home. And she really got up and into that one, Kathy, and that results in another Cougar point, 4-1 now. Brianna Williams coming into the game for number 18, Dedez. So Emily Stanley, the libero, back on the line to serve for the Cougars, who lead 4-1. And Stanley's serve, some good velocity on it, but not enough height, goes into the net to give Methodist its second point of the set at 4-2. So it's going to be number 11, Cassidy Hayes with the serve. Marks on the Shields' dig, and Courier is going to serve that one over to number 18, Beardsley. Beardsley cannot handle it, and it is now 5-2. Beardsley out of Kill Devil Hills, and Kathy, that is actually where the Wright brothers flew the first plane.
No, I think I saw that coming in when I was driving in here.
It is, and it's on the back of all of North Carolina's license plates, first in flight.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it was the Wright brothers, of course, down there in the Kill Devils Kitty Hawk area, I believe. And Hannah Shields unable to corral in the Methodist attack, and it is now 5-3 as it's going to be number 3, Maggie Harris, back to serve for the Monarchs. So nice play there by Stanley. There's the set by Miller. Williams. And that's going to be number 18, Beardsley. And Beardsley is going to deflect it off the fist of Stanley. The ball goes out of bounds. 5-4. Hannah Shields regrouping the team real quick as Methodist has rattled off 2 consecutive points to cut its deficit down to 1. So it's going to be number 3, Harris. Miller. And Smoot gets over. Nice play there by libero Ronelli. And that's going to be number 18, Beardsley. Nice rally going between the two sides right now. That's number 13, Cheyenne Pump, right to Miller. Miller to Stanley. Stanley over to number 10, Brooke Aaron. And that's going to be a Cougar point, and it's now 6-4. Christiana Suma coming in. And Kathy, with that right there, that breaks a 2-row run by Methodist. How big will that be for Averett moving forward?
That's really big for them. They can, Averett can really take this game right here and rattle off some points with the serve.
And we'll see if they can do it. And Williams getting some ups. Nice play there by the Monarchs at the net, and it's now a 1-point game at 6-5. Both of these teams know what is on the line tonight. It is survive and advance time. And they're looking to continue their season this weekend, USA South Tournament. Of course, if Averett wins, they will be hosting. And Hannah Shields drops down the hammer. Gets a little elbow grease, a little WD-40 behind that one, and hammers it home. And it's now a 7-5 set as Averett looking to establish a little momentum here. Brianna Williams back on the line. Her serve into the net. And Methodist a 7-6 ball game. And Stanley coming in on the libero switch. And it's going to be number 24, Ronelli, the defensive specialist out of Winter Park, Florida. And Miller with the set. Dedez. It's going to be number 3, Maggie Harris. Number 24, Ronelli. That one's going to get over to number 14, Megan Andrews. And Andrews, the freshman, unable to keep her attack in bounds. And that will result in a attack error and an 8-6 Averett lead. So Keenan Marks now back on the line for the Cougs. Let's see what happens here. Marks over. There's the set by number 3 to Hayes, and Hayes is going to T-bone the Cougars defense with that kill. And it's now a 1-point match. So it's going to be number 1 now, Lily Henry out of Chapel Hill. About 45 minutes from Danville. Marks. And that one's going to get over to Dedez. And Dedez getting involved on the action there. 9-7 is your score. So it's going to be number 7, Sarah Smoot, coming into the game now. Hannah Shields back on the line. Hannah Shields' stellar career here at Averett winding down. And pushed over there by number 11, Cassidy Hayes. And Kathy, it's crazy. I came here was talking with Lindsay last week on the broadcast, and I came here when Hannah Shields was a freshman, and now seeing her grow up, Kathy, the saying is true. You guys really do grow up fast. So it's now 9-8. And make it 10-8 as Averett picking up the point. And Kathy, let me stop trying to make myself sound old here.
No, I bet it was pretty fun watching her grow in the past 4 years, watching her become this great player for Averett.
And hurt. And so that one is going to result in a Beardsley kill. And it is now a 10-9 ball game. We're going to have number 5, Jasmine Tapscott, checking into the game on the libero switch. It's going to be number 18, Beardsley, back to serve. The ball pushed over by number 9, Quarter. And that's going to be number 5, Tapscott. And Tapscott trying to get involved in the action right away. Unfortunately for her, she will get charged with the error. And that will give Averett a point and 11-9 lead. So Mackenzie Miller, Brooke Aaron back into the game for the Cougars, as Miller will go right back to the line. Miller in the top 5 amongst service aces on the team. And number 18, Beardsley, pumps one, but a nice play there by the Cougars defense. And I believe that was Miller knocking it off the outstretched fingers of Rodnelli.
Oh, no, that was Smoot.
And that was Smoot. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate the help out on that one. That's why it's always nice to have an extra pair of eyes. So Miller served to Rodnelli. Methodist recovering from the bad set. A nice little over-to-the-back play right there from Beardsley. But that's going to be in vain as Williams gets up and says, "Freight train coming to your house." And it is now 13-9. So Methodist wants a timeout. We're going to take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network. Cougars ahead, 13-9. We'll kick it right back to you here in just a second.
And we are back here at the Averett Sports Network. This is Lindsay Fulcher again, back for just a little bit, as Mackenzie Miller is currently serving. The score is 13-9, make that 14-9, as the Cougars are currently in the lead.
Mackenzie Miller back to serve again. Tough serve right to the libero. Gets them a little out of system. And Miller puts it away on the second ball dump. Point Averett. Miller back to serve again.
Cougars now leading 15-9. And that ball, as Davin would say, had too much sauce as that went way out, but nevertheless gave the Cougars another point. Methodist currently trailing by 7 as Miller is up to serve again. And she was a little out there. Point goes to Methodist.
Number 3, Maggie Harris, back to serve for Methodist. And Williams just gets it in the court for a great kill. Point Averett.
Sub in here for Sarah Smoot, Christiana Suma up to the line. Suma is from Poquoson, Virginia. Kathy Suma actually graduated high school with me.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I let our viewers know every now and then. We played on the same volleyball team, and needless to say, she's much better, and I'll stick to reporting. The Cougars now leading 17-10. Surprised there as the ball came over.
Yeah, Cougars tried their best to keep it going, but the ref called a lift on the ball because Hannah Shields' hand was wide open. So in volleyball, if your hand is wide open, the refs usually call it a lift. A kill from Brooke Aaron on the right side gives Averett a point.
Madison Dedez now re-enters the game for Emily Stanley. And Williams up to serve. Point for Methodist.
Ranelli back to serve for Methodist.
Methodist now trailing by only 5.
And Aaron finds the back of the court for a kill. Point Averett.
Some subs as Lindsay Coyer and Keenan Marks come in. Marks now up to serve. The serve is over. Methodist almost not able to handle that. Hannah Shields with the kill.
Give Drew a shout out on his moves where he slide the ball away.
Keenan Marks with the serve. And I'd like to point out that our sports information director helped out the Cougars there by putting his hand up, moved the ball away for them. Shout out to Drew Wilson. Christiana Suma to Marks to Dedez as she tips it over. Methodist able to reach that. And Methodist able to find the hole. The Monarchs finding a weak spot, and Averett's set up there. Nevertheless, the Cougars still lead. Lily Henry with the serve. And Shields with the point as the Cougars reach 21-15. Shields now serving, and Kathy, that's not who you're wanting to serve when you're, the other team. The Cougars have 4 points until they've won the second set. And Shields a very strong player, not someone As you can see now, she's made it 22. Not someone you necessarily want right there on the line. So needless to say, there is a timeout being called, and we're going to take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Hannah Shields on the serve. There's the set by the Monarchs. So that's going to be number 3, Maggie Harris there with the pushover, and that's going to be number 7, Sarah Smoot, laying out for it, but unable to corral it. So Sarah Smoot, one of the seniors, looking to wrap off her Averett career here with a USA South Tournament Championship. So number 13, Cheyenne Pump with the serve. Marks over to Dedez. Dedez to Marks. Marks over to Smoot. Smoot gets it up, but her attack is met at the net by number 3, Harris and Hayes. So Marks now over to Courier. Courier gets up, once again met by the Methodist defense. Marks over to Courier. Courier trying to switch courts. Nice defensive play there by Cheyenne Pump. Ball coming over to Dedez. Dedez to Marks. Marks back over to Smoot. Smoot hammers that one home, and that's going to deflect off the fist of Beardsley. Ronelli laid out, tried to grab it in vain, though, and Averett now on the verge of going up a quick 2-0 here. Ahead 23-16. Stanley all smiles as she steps back on the line. And Kathy, I don't think there isn't a moment where Stanley isn't smiling.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
And so a nice play there. Beardsley keeping it alive. Courier. And that's number 11, Cassidy Hayes. And Cassidy Hayes is going to get up there and rocket that one home. And that's going to get Methodist 1 point closer at 23-17 with 1 minute remaining here in the second set. Of course, Kathy, that was a joke. So Marks up to Courier. And Courier into the net. And just like that, Methodist has put together 2 quick points. 23-18 is your score. You're going to see Matt Stoltz, the assistant coach, come out on the court, try to calm the team down, and that's Brianna Williams getting up, showing her UPS. And it's now 24-8, so match point here for the Cougars as they are looking to go up 2-0. And Mackenzie Miller, the daughter of USA South Hall of Fame head coach Danny Miller, and also Averett University Hall of Fame head coach Danny Miller, one of the most successful coaches in Division III volleyball behind his USA South Conference foe, and that's going to end it right there. Averett with the 25-18 victory, but Miller right up there with his USA South coach match in Candace Schramm over at Maryville. The pair are 2 of the most winningest coaches in Division III volleyball. So we're going to give it a few minutes here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have the rest of the action here from Averett University. Keep it locked. And so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Davin Wilson, joined here by Lindsay Fulcher. And Lindsay, having everybody jump back and forth here on the 1s and 2s tonight, it makes me feel very official. It almost makes me feel like I'm on Fox News. And it used to be back, I remember watching baseball games in the 90s, and they would have two guys come on for the first 5 or so innings, and then they would have 2 more come on to finish it up. So we're moving on up like the Jeffersons here at Averett.
Absolutely, Davin. And Kathy did a wonderful job.
She did. She really did, especially, I believe, only second time she was on the broadcast. She's a natural, and I don't know what her major is, but she might want to switch.
It's never a bad idea to switch to broadcasting, Davin. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I hope, Lindsay, I hope you will still feel that way 2 to 3 years out of college, because it is a very competitive field, but getting all this experience as you are right now, you should be in very good shape moving forward here. So Keena Marks back on the service line. And that one is over to Ronelli. Number 5.
With Shields. With the kill. Puts up a point early for Averett. Exactly how the Cougars like to start off. Marks back up to the service line again. You know, Davin, as we are actually talking about switching over to broadcasting, I'm not sure if you know this, but I used to be a biomed major.
I did not know this.
I did. I came into college wanting to be an eye doctor.
Hey, you know what? You would probably make more money doing that than you will in broadcasting, but money is not everything. And
this is true. I wanted to build relationships, network, talk to people.
And you will definitely do that in this line of work.
Goes straight to Stanley, to Marks, and to Dez with a tip over. Smoot to Marks, to Coyer, who gets that back line for another point for Averett.
And a 2-1 lead. Cougars trying to get out here and go ahead and send us home in 3 sets and ensure that they will play on Friday. They, of course, are the top seed. Have completed their 2nd consecutive season, regular season, undefeated in USA South play. And right now, Lindsay, if I'm not mistaken, I think with a win today, it will push them to 43 consecutive USA South Conference wins, which is an outstanding mark.
I think that number is correct, Davin. Shields with the serve back over.
And that's Ronelli, unable to get it over, and it's now 4-1. So we're seeing Eddie Matthews come out on the floor now, trying to talk to his team, calm them down a bit.
Shields back on the service line. It is over. And Methodist able to control the ball. Marks to Dez. Monarchs get it over. Smoot sprawls out. Marks to Coyer. And Davin, this is quite a rally here.
It is.
Stanley to Shields to Smoot. And they brought it back over. Marks to Shields. And Coyer with the kill.
And Lindsay, I remember back, it was about this time back about 2 years ago, I had to go down to NC Wesleyan to stat a men's soccer game for the tournament down there. And I remember after the game, I stopped in and watched Averett and Methodist before coming back to Danville. And it was a very heated contest. Both of these teams very talented. And Coyer coming down with the point there for Averett. So Averett out to a hot start at 6-1. Kind of surprised Matthews hasn't taken a timeout yet to try to calm his squad down over here. Shields back on the line yet again. Methodist unable to get her off of the service line thus far.
Shields, being a roommate of mine this past year, is someone I always love to talk about, Davin. She just is full of joy, energy, and dang, does she love the game of volleyball. She is out here every day giving it her everything, her 100%. So so exciting to always watch her as she serves, and I'm excited I've got to watch her serve so much this game.
And she will be taken off the service line this time, but it's still a 7-2 game right now, though. Averett still in easy control of this one. They will look to keep that up here. Ronelli, meanwhile, Methodist, different story. They're kind of reeling right now, and that kill from Sarah Smoot will not help. Ronelli does a great job of laying out for that one and almost able to keep it alive, but unable to, and it's now a 8-2 contest as Emily Stanley will step back on the line to serve. And
a little out there.
And Lindsay, you said it just as well as I did last week. A little bit too much what?
Sauce.
There you go.
I actually said it when Kathy and I were on the broadcast earlier. Davin gave you a little shout out. Knew you'd want to say it. Well, Smoot Shields.
I appreciate the shout out, Lindsay.
I know you'd have given me one.
Yes. Would have thrown it right back to you. So.
Number 1 for the Monarchs, Lily Henry with the serve. And Brianna Williams with the kill. And that came pretty fast there at the Monarchs.
And you know, Lindsay, sometimes I would love to put a radar down by the court and see how fast some of these balls are coming in at, because I'm sure some of them approach the mid-60s, lower 70s. Especially if you have a player like Shields or Williams really get behind one. And a little confusion there by Averett will lead to a Methodist point, and it is now 9-4. So we're going to have number 18, Beardsley, come into the game now for the Monarchs. Monarchs looking to keep their season alive here. Came into this contest the 5th seed, a 17-12 mark overall, 8-8 in the USA South. They knocked off Salem in the match before this, 3-0. Salem had come into this match at 21-11, 10-6 were in that last match. 21-11 overall, 10-6 in the USA South. And so Suma back to the line now, back on the line. Her serve is over.
Methodist unable to get it over the net as the Cougars celebrate another point. Suma back up to the line. Cougars currently leading 11-5. Methodist head coach does call a timeout, and we will take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network. And we are back here at the Averett Sports Network, currently as Averett hosts the USA South Conference Tournament. Christiana Suma serving as Averett leads 11-6. Methodist now serving number 11. That is Cassidy Hayes. Hayes, a senior out of Irwin, North Carolina. Methodist hits it a little outside, and that will give the Cougars another point. The score now 12-6 with Brianna Williams up to the line.
Ronelli. That's going to be number 3, Spooner, or excuse me, Harris. Miller. Tadez. Ronelli, and Ronelli unable to corral that one in. And it is now 13-6 in favor of Averett. Averett looking to go ahead and lock this one down in 3 sets, get on to its competition on Friday. And that's going to be number 5, Tapscott. And that's number 10, Aaron. Suma over to Shields, and Shields, freight train coming to your house. And Lindsay, it's something I've been saying for 3.5 years now, and I think we will be saying it as long as Shields is wearing an Averett uniform. So Bree Williams back on the line. Her serve into the net. Crunches her face a little bit right there. Scrunches it, excuse me, I should say. So that's going to be number 20, Ronelli, coming into the game for Methodist now. And it looks like it's going to be number 3, Harris, back on the line. Harris, the senior, trying to make sure this is not her last contest. So Miller over to Shields. Nice play there by the Monarchs. And that is going to be number 18, I believe, Beardsley, who will get credited with that. And Lindsay, you know, you've got to, if you're Danny Miller and the Cougars, you've got to feel good. Your 30-plus win season, even if you don't win the USA South tournament, it still should be good enough to get an at-large bid. But I know Averett is going to want to control their own fate as far as the postseason goes. So Methodist point, 14-9.
As Lily Henry back up to, or I'm sorry, Maggie Harris up to the line for Methodist. And it is over. Brooke Aaron hits it over. Methodist trying hard to hit with power, thinking that will defeat the Cougars. Cougars able to fight back. Lindsay Coyer and Keenan Marks now into the game for the Averett Cougars. Marks up to the line. And Methodist able to save it. Marks to Coyer. Coyer again with the kill. Coyer is on fire tonight, Davin. Definitely a senior who's not ready to give this up.
She's not, and, you know, she has never been a big chunk of this Averett team with so much talent on it, but she has stepped up in a role this year and has rewarded Miller for his dedication and for his belief in her, and that is Shields. And a great play there by number 13, Pump, and number 3, Harris. But one too many touches will give Averett a 17-9 lead. And Marks and Lindsay Methodist has got to start trying to chip some things back together here if they want their season to continue. Marks with a good serve. Ronelli ready for it, though. That's going to be number 3, Harris. And Dedez is there to meet it, and it's now 18-9.
And Davin, like you said, they are going to have to, for lack of better words, really keep staying in the game. You know, their first set out here, we were tied, and Methodist was able to keep up with Averett. Both great teams out here. Definitely on equal playing fields, and you know, both teams have the ability to win it, so they can't let their heads hang yet. And so Matthews is going to want a timeout, and we're going to take it with him here on the Averett Sports Network. Averett in front, 19-9, needing just 6 points to move on to the USA South Conference semifinal. Keep it locked. We will be right back here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bazak here to the Averett Sports Network. 19-9 is your score. Davin Wilson, Lindsay Fulcher here. Davin, we might have forgotten something, and you know what it was?
What did we forget?
We didn't tell our viewers Happy Halloween.
We didn't, did we? Well, trick or treat to everybody back, no matter where you're watching from.
Thank you to our viewers for watching us and listening to myself and Davin's voices today on Halloween, watching this Averett Methodist matchup.
And hopefully if you're tuning in right now, you haven't been distracted by too many trick-or-treaters. Hopefully you've been able to watch the game rather uninterrupted. 20-10 is your score.
Shields marks. And to Dez. The ball did go a little out, Davin. That puts Methodist in charge of the ball now as they step up to the service line. Number 14, Megan Andrews.
And that Shields marks. Shields again, and Shields is going to hammer that one home, and a nice catch out in the crowd there. We're going to have to get that gentleman's name, Lindsay, after the game, and we'll have to try to get him on to the Averett Sports Network here and ask him a secret.
Secret to staying awake and waiting for that ball to go right to you.
And that was timing, and Lindsay, instinct timing, you can't teach that. So Stanley over to quarter. There's a set by Ronelli, and that's going to be number 13, Beardsley.
Marks to Stanley to Shields. Methodist missing that tip. Looks like she just didn't jump quite high enough. That was Jasmine Tapscott.
And actually a Fayetteville local down there. Born and raised. So Shields, along with Samantha Spooner. And 23-11, so the lights are starting to get a little dim for the Monarchs. And of course, Lindsay, we know Monarchs and Moss and all that stuff, they love the light. But things are starting to get a little dim here for Methodist. Shields over to number 5, Jasmine Tapscott, and Jasmine Tapscott, excuse me, says we're not out of this one yet. We're not done. It's not over until it's over. 23-12 now, as that's going to be Ronelli back on the line to serve.
And the Monarchs really just needing to get a few points here to be able to win this match and go to 4 at least.
And that is set point, 24-12. So Emily Stanley back on the line. Brianna Williams back into the game. Averett needs just 1 point to move on to the USA South Conference semifinal. And of course, they would earn the right to host the semifinals and the finals. And that is number 11, Cassidy Hayes, unable to keep her attack inbounds. And that's going to end it here as Averett coming out on top 25-12 to take this one 3-0. Methodist season unfortunately comes to an end. Their season will end at 17-13. And meanwhile, Averett will continue on, and they will look to avenge last year's loss to the Avenging Angels. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have the Hampton Wilkins postgame show here on the Averett Sports Network. Keep it locked. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And we have just wrapped up the third and final set here at the Grant Center. Averett a 25-12 winner in the third set. They end up sweeping Methodist 3-0, and they will live to fight another day as they will go on to the USA South Conference Tournament semifinal and looking to avoid or avenge that loss last year to Meredith in the final that locked the Cougars out of the NCAA tournament. Of course, Lindsay, this is actually win number 31 on the year for Averett, ties a program record, I believe from back in the early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was 2006 that record was set, but either way, 31 wins on the season. The Cougars continue to cruise in USA South play. They have not lost in USA South Conference action since 2015. And that has got to be one of the longest streaks. So, Lindsay, you're the one with the stat sheet in your hand right now. Tell me what sticks out to you.
Well, I'm not sure. I may have missed you saying this, but was it 43 conference wins for a regular season? 43,
I believe now. And, of course, this would not count as a regular season win, but it is still 43 nonetheless.
Another thing that's a crucial thing to mention is not only the Cougars obviously made the semifinals now, but Lindsay Coyer, a star athlete today, as she had 13 kills. Coyer actually getting the recap interview right after we finish with this, and although she's a little nervous, she's honored that her hard work has definitely been paying off. Coyer spent a whole year injured and has been able to come back and really represent the senior class and fully be into this game and know that they want to go to the NCAA full tournament. They want to win this.
They do, and I don't think there's anything less that the Cougars would settle for this year. There was an article that came out in the paper earlier this week. I actually believe it might have been today, if I'm not mistaken, where head coach Danny Miller and Hannah Shields and a lot of the other players were talking about that was the mentality all along is how they were going to nothing less than an appearance in the NCAA tournament was going to be acceptable. So we're looking here, and Lindsay, right now, I know one mark that, and no pun intended here, but one mark that stands out to me is Keenan Marks' 24 assists on the night. Of course, Maggie Harris from Methodist, she has all 26 of her team's assists. Also, we're going to take a look here. We've got Hannah Shields coming in with 12 kills. You've got Courier, as you mentioned, with 13 kills. She also finished, Lindsay, with a .522 hitting percentage, which roughly translates into 52.9%. Also, you've got, as we mentioned, Keenan Marks, 24 assists. You got Brianna Williams, had 10 kills on 17 total attacks. And then, of course, we've got number 5, Mackenzie Miller, the freshman, 15 assists. And her stellar freshman season continues. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for us here tonight. And as once again, we will let you know it was Averett a 3-0 winner over at Methodist University, as they will move on to not only play in the USA South semifinal, but they will also get to host the semifinal and final matchup. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here tonight from the Grant Center. As always, for Lindsay Fulcher and myself, we would like to thank you guys for tuning in and hope everybody has a happy Halloween, and make sure you don't get hangry out there tonight. So, on behalf of all of us, as we said, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.